How's it going there, true believers? It is I, your maitre d' to the marvelously mystical, your pilot of the pages, your usher of the MCU, Shane, and I'm here to give you another Agatha All Along episode review. And this episode is episode 5, Darkest Hour, Wake Thy Power. I'm gonna need y'all to wake up. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of more reviews like this one. And if you want to help me even further, please go to that Patreon link right there below. Whatever you give, I appreciate it. It's going to a good cause. We're gonna upgrade. You know, ignore the flashing lights over there. It's for the spooky ambiance. I'm here with my empirical almanac for enchantments, for brooms, wands, and staffs. It's actually just an open thing. I keep Yu-Gi-Oh cards in here. That it's really not an actual book, but brooms are in this episode, and this is bruh, I'm scared for Jennifer Kale. I ain't gonna lie. Like, y'all don't do that. Don't do it. And what's sad is this is episode 5. So technically this is the mid-season. And so we have episodes 6, 7, 8, and 9. 8 and 9, I told you in the last review that I put out on Sunday. They're going to put both of those together. I am not going to review them as one like I did my season 2 finale for 1,000 Year Blood War. I'm going to do those separately because, yeah, that's going to be way too much content. But it'll be done before Halloween. Maybe. Oh, this episode. So the recaps are now basically giving us hints. Just sprinkling those little hints in there. Because this recap was Salem, Massachusetts, 1963. Yeah, it said 1963. I even put it in my notes. Am I sure it's not 1863? I'm pretty sure it's 1863. Because then 1963 makes no sense. 1863, hundreds of years ago. Salem and all that other good stuff, right? Agatha betraying her coven. She's like, Mama, why? They zap her with the magical juice. She gets the purple stuff. And the purple stuff make everybody wrinkly and dried up, right? Some Ghostbuster shit. And I got some connection. Hold on. Got to check my notes here. And so we get some more information on who the Salem 7 actually are and why they are after her. Obviously, they're after her because of the stuff in Salem, right? Or at least I initially thought it was because of the Darkhold stuff. No, it's because of that Salem stuff, because they are the children of the witches that she murdered that night. She just happened to spare the kids. Which there's a lot of defending going on, especially from Rio here. She defends Agatha twice. Once from Jen when Lily is explaining what's going on here, and she's saying, yeah, she mercilessly killed all of them. She's like, well, her mom tried to kill her, and then the second time she defended her was in the treehouse segment, the trial, right? And she said, no, Agatha's ghost mom can't have her, which is crazy because Rio, before that part, was talking about slitting her throat. And then this part here, she wants to kill her anyway. So it's very obvious that they were, wait, I'm gonna wait 5 seconds to say it. They were fucking. It's very obvious that they were fucking before and that they have a type of relationship here, right? This seemed like one of the most toxic things I've ever seen. On one hand, I ain't gonna let nobody talk trash about her. Only me, and only I get to kill her. What? Don't worry, I have more confusing things to talk about after that. But Lilia has alerted them about the Salem 7 because they came out of the hole in the ground where they dug Mrs. Hart, Mrs. Davis, and it's the area where they summoned Rio. And Lily's like, yeah, we forgot to close it. Remember, kids, if you're doing any spooky shit, like, I don't know, using Ouija boards or trying to summon things, you should close that fucking door. Just saying, close that door. Where am I here? And again, I'm still trying to figure out why she is defending her. Like, are we supposed, again, let's keep this in mind. Are we supposed to feel bad for Agatha? I will come back to that question twice as I'm talking about this with you. But we get a little fun thing here, right? So these guys, the Salem 7, this is not the fun part. They're a hive mind. They're very hive mind. Like, they come out, they're like, Agatha, Harkness, get them, follow them. They're doing all that spooky shit. They're crawling on the ground. They turn into foxes, turn to owls, turn to ravens. I don't know what else they turn into. There's 7 of them, and I've only seen 3 creatures. Oh, we saw the coyote. One of them named Coyote, which looked more like a wolf than a coyote, but whatever. They're hive mind. They're coming after all of them now, apparently. But the fun bit is when they hear a howl in the front of them, and the owl comes later, and the rustling behind them, Teen says, let's do Hexen Besson. Never heard of this word in my life. But all of them, except for Rio, because Rio is, again, we are reminded that she is psychotic. She's like, yeah, let's do it. And Hexen Besson is using a broom. I didn't even know that this prop would come in handy for this, because I just watched the episode yesterday. So that's some good stuff there. But they got to get branches, not twigs. They grab branches and they have to tie them up, and then they do a little ritual with another one, and they pass them around. Now we do get an explanation on why their generation, Teen's words, not mine, y'all, Teen's words, not mine, hates this. And if you give me 2 seconds. So apparently they hate brooms because brooms are used for the holiday introduction and is an abused emblem of their culture. Not the witch's hat, not the pointy hats, not the black hats, not the cauldron. It's the broom, apparently. And worse yet, they're an obvious symbol of female domesticality. Domestication. I mean, if you got to sweep, everybody got to use a broom. But I get where she's coming from, but everybody got to use a broom, right? So this is the fun part. Who trades off here? We have Rio with Abigail, which that was all sorts of awkwardness. We have Lilia with Jen, where where Jen's like, oh, that's a really nice one. Then Lilia goes to Jen, yeah, yours is ugly. Because I guess you grab one and then you just trade, which is you say words in Latin, then you trade. And of course, Teen trades with Alice. That was a cute moment. Probably the last cute moment we'll have for a very long time. Spoilers, obviously, read the description. Spoilers if you haven't, right? And then they fly in the air. You get Teen going, oh my God, and of course Lily goes, you need to pray to the Divine Mother, kid. Which, yeah, that checks out. Hey guys, at least she didn't say you gotta pray to Mephisto, who's technically the devil. So take it or leave it. It makes sense though. Rio cackles. Literally sounded like the Wicked Witch of the West. Just I love that they kept that in there. If that was an outtake, I hope that was an outtake that they decided to keep in there. Really, I don't want to call it stereotypical, but the shot, right? The shot of them going across the blood moon. I'm on the blood moon in a second. You've seen that shot before. You've seen it on decorations. You've seen it on books. You've seen it on things like that. The cinematography is really good because it gives you a good idea of what this space is, or at least what this space looks like. Just looks like a infinite forest with a leaf-ridden road that you're not supposed to get off of. And the starry skies, and it's all nice, and they're all enjoying it, and they're having fun. There's a lot of woohoos, especially from Alice. And as soon as Teen asks, how come we didn't do this from the start, you are quickly answered, and it turns into Inception because the world starts to kind of flip a bit. The road is bringing them back down, and their whole thing was they were trying to escape them anyway and get to the next trial, which always pops up as a house. I don't know if that's like how remember, the road tailors itself to the Coven, so maybe all their stuff is houses just because they have a lot of deep issues that deal with like their home lives and families and whatnot. So maybe that's why they keep appearing as homes. This one looked more like a treehouse. Actually, this whole episode is, while the series is very spooky because October, Halloween, witches, and all that other good stuff, this episode was heavy on the horror pop culture references. You got some Evil Dead in there. You got some Exorcists in there. You got a little bit of Hereditary. At least I think that's Hereditary, right? Someone tell me if I named this movie correctly. Remember the one with the ugly daughter and the son driving, and she sticks her head out the window and head's gone. And then it turns out he was supposed to be a vessel for the devil or something like that. Is that Hereditary? I feel like it's Hereditary. Or is Hereditary? No. Insidious is the one with the little boy that they should have killed in the beginning. This is Hereditary. Tell me if I'm wrong. Right there in the comments. Just let me know. So, Treehouse is retro. I'm pretty sure most people, mostly Gen Xers, because they love to complain about Stranger Things, are kind of tired of this, but it's 80s theme. You see people in the baggy clothes. You know, the girls have the shoulder exposed. Jen is actually wearing a retainer, which was very funny when she popped it out of her mouth to say punish Agatha. Alice was wearing like the workout gears, you know, the singlet, but then you have the tights underneath. I don't remember what Teen looked like. He has such curly hair. Last episode he looked like someone from Aerosmith, so I don't remember all of the outfits, and I actually didn't even bother to write it down because shit was getting really real really quickly. So as they're looking around to figure out what they have to do for this trial and whose trial this is, it's Agatha's, by the way, because the recap tells you whose it is. It's Agatha, and they got to use a Ouija board, or a Ouija board if you like saying things incorrectly. If you give me 2 seconds to look at my phone notes, there's rules here. Oh, and they all have swatches on. Isn't that cool? You guys remember well, those of you of age remember swatches? They have swatches, and it tells them they have 30 minutes. See. Agatha said it's not a verb. I don't know what she meant. Maybe swatches is not a verb, or maybe the Ouija board's not a verb. That one was kind of confusing for me, but there are 6 rules here. 1, don't use the board alone, which they all agree with. 2, don't talk over one another, which was hilarious because then they all begin to talk over one another. 3, don't taunt the spirits, and they all look at Agatha, and she's like, what? And he says, and I repeat again, do not taunt the spirits. 4, do not ask about death. 5, always end the session with goodbye. And 6, do not under any circumstance remove your hand from the planchette. If you haven't seen a Ouija board before, which I don't know how you haven't, bunch of letters on it. There's a planchette, looks like a spade, like a diamond, just like that. It moves around, or you moving around. Use the letters to spell things. There's yes, there's no, there's yes and no. I know on some boards they might have don't know, and most of the time when it spells out death, it just spells death. But sometimes I've seen some boards might have death in the lower left hand corner. I'm not 100% sure on that one. I don't care if I'm right on that one, but I know I'm right on the rest of it. And the rest, and on the back, Lily said, what's on the back? It says for ages 3 and up. So it makes you really think, right? The joke isn't complete without that. And actually, there was another joke on here. Oh, another reason why they don't use the broom. Jen said because they're basic. I love her whole not preppy girl thing, but like modern girl. She's like, she gives fashionista, which explains why the first trial was hers, because it was a very nice modern looking house. She looks like she would invite someone over to have a couple of drinks, right? And when she saw the crazy white dude that had bound her and tried to drown her, that seemed to fit the criteria for that kitchen area. So it's interesting how these areas not only are for them mentally, but physically the area. Because remember last time Alice's was her childhood home. Yeah, childhood home. This one is just more like wooded area, kind of like where Agatha killed the rest of them. Let me see. And remember that blood moon I told you about? So blood moon, the veil between living and dead is at its thinnest. Thank you, Lilia, for explaining that one to us. Also, why isn't Lilia doing this? Because she's supposed to be the one that talks to dead people, right? She said it's a common misconception. She reads people, she reads time. The whole talking to the dead thing was just a con so she can get money before. So that's interesting. I actually wonder what her trial will be, given that when we saw her hallucination, which are all hints into what's going to go on with her, I'm going to assume that hers involves seeing someone close to her die. Is the whole death thing. I swear we saw Mistress Death in hers. So again, because we're almost out of people. There should be two more. It would be Rio as the Green Witch, and it should be Lilia's. So allow me to continue here. So when we get to the whole Ouija board thing, obviously I thought the beginning, I thought it was actually going to be Mrs. Davis, aka Mrs. Hart, that they actually spoke to, but it was just Agatha being an asshole. And even Rio goes once again, oh, she's doing it because she's scared. And everyone knows that she's being an asshole because Mrs. Davis told them her name's not really Mrs. Hart, it's Mrs. Davis. And they all knew it. But for some reason, why do they call her Mrs. Hart when she died? And why did they call her Mrs. Hart at the beginning of the last episode if you know what her real name is? You get me? Granted, they call her by her first name. But you get me? You feel me? Right? Or am I tripping? Did I miss something? Or did they miss something? Let me know. I'm just telling you, let me know. So when we finally get to the real conjuring thing, they're end up talking to her mom, because then we get, we can see who's with us, death, who's responsible, Agatha. Then it says, what do you want? Punish Agatha. And it says, keep saying her name over and over again, keep saying punish over and over again. And so who took their hands off? I think she took her hands off, and the ghost of her mom appears, and her mom ends up possessing her. And then again, it turns into one of those movies, Exorcist, Hereditary, Evil Dead. She has little veins. Actually doesn't even look like I feel so bad, Catherine Hahn. It doesn't even actually look like Catherine Hahn. That's really good makeup. Really, really, really good makeup. Also, really good set design, since it's supposed to be 80s theme. When you see the CRTV over there, you see all the old school games. And when, the spooky stuff starts happening, you got the old school robot over there. You got the monkey with the symbols around the corner over here. Looked like something was supposed to be a fake NES. I couldn't tell if it was a fake NES or not, but they get the little fake ones, the pretendos and stuff like that, right? And initially, they're all for punishing her, right? Especially Jen. Jen has been like team I hate Agatha from jump. And Lily's like, well, you got to do what you got to do. Alice says part of punishment is humiliation. I like that Alice is the least lethal when it comes to this, because God knows what Jen means, right? And Rio's just like, can we just slit her throat? And of course, Teen is being Teen. He's like, oh no, not my idol. You can't do this to her. But as they speak to the spirit more and more, and the spirit of her mother, and her mother's name is, actually, I didn't write it in my paper notes. Give me 2 seconds here. Lilia starts being, Lily's being weird again. It's fun. It's funny moments that are peppered in here like a horror movie that kind of bring you up and down. But that's not what I want to pay attention to. I want to pay attention to what is her mom's name. Her name is Evanora Harkness of the Salemites, which, you know, she says, "Hey, Mom," you get your usual Agatha, I won't say dry humor, but you get her usual humor, like, "Oh, Mom, you always embarrass me," shit like that, right? But what she wants them to do in order to get past here and get away from here is leave Agatha behind and just continue on the road by themselves. And again, are we supposed to feel bad for her? Because her mom says, when Agatha asks, "Why do you hate me still?" Outside of the fact that, you know, you killed me, I would have been like, "Well, you killed me." But no, her mom says she was born evil and she should have killed her the moment she left her body. And I said, shit, that's, if your mom has ever said anything mean to you, I bet she's never said that to you. And if she has, you should probably get some therapy. That's really fucked up. But everyone is quiet and you can just tell everyone feels bad. And I'm here raising my hand, metaphorically speaking. Are we supposed to feel bad for her? Because she technically is evil. Again, she killed a dog. I'm never forgiving that. She killed a dog. She tried to take Wanda's kids from her, use them as bargaining chips. Now we see that she lent mercy on someone else's kids, but she also tried to take Wanda's power, and essentially that would kill her, as we have seen from 1863, and we will see in the next 2 to 3 minutes, because Alice steps up and she says, hey, you know, get out of her. And she does her own mystic dragon power thing. I say dragon power, that's slightly racist, but she does her own little mystical thing, right? And her energy is yellow, by the way. And then Agatha starts to absorb it, and she's doing the evil look and all that other stuff. And the purple is gathering, and they're telling Alice to stop, but Alice can't stop it. And Alice did get Evanora out of her. And Teen's trying to figure out what the hell to do. Well, they got to finish the Ouija board thing. That's part of the trial. So he goes and says, "Who is actually with us?" It spells out Nicholas Scratch. BT dubs. I wrote in my notes about Nicholas Scratch in the very beginning, but I wanted to save it for this moment. It was very apparent from episode 1, when she was still stuck in Wanda's illusion spell hex kind of thing, that Nicholas Scratch wasn't just the rabbit, wasn't just Mr. Senior Scratchy. The Nicholas Scratch had to have been a kid, because she saw a kid's bedroom, etc., etc., etc. So I'm gonna give myself a high five and a pat on the back. That was kind of obvious, so I won't do vindication, but yeah, it's pretty obvious. And he was talking to Nicholas Scratch. So since he was talking to Nicholas Scratch, once again, we know that Teen is not Nicholas Scratch. Actually, we pretty much know who he is by the end of this episode. So he does the whole Nicholas Scratch thing, ends it with goodbye, and you hear the little kid's voice going, "Mom, don't stop, Mom." And that's what snaps her out of it. Although, again, didn't she give up the kid as a baby? Like, what, you wouldn't know what the baby sound like, right? Because you gave up the baby. I don't know. Maybe just like a mother's love is magic. I mean, look, I'm not going to plant my flag on that. We just watched like 6 people fly on brooms. We watched one person turn into an owl, another person turn into a fox. I don't give a shit about that. I'm just saying, how does she know the kid's voice? Where are we at here? So, you know, you had Agatha doing the crying, the "take me with you." Now she absorbed Alice's power. Now Alice is on the floor looking dried up like the Crypt Keeper. And Teen is freaking out. And Agatha goes to touch her, and he does. First of all, I'm going to do this live because I don't know this actor's name, right? And I need to give some kudos here. The actor that plays Teen. Is it John Locke? Is that who you are? Yeah, John Locke. First of all, Not his real voice. Good job on that too. Shows a lot of range. I like the range going from this. Don't want to call him naive, because then I'll be calling myself naive, because I'm kind of like that a little bit, trying to see the good out of things, trying to see the good from people, but a bit naive. And it turns into this rage and this fury. He showed a little bit of rage, being annoyed with Agatha making a joke out of Mrs. Davis dying. Showed a little bit of annoyance, but still dug that grave, because it's what you should do. But now he's letting her, don't you touch her. She was protecting you, but you didn't deserve it. And the treehouse steps comes down. That's the way out. And then Agatha, just like a cat with its tail between its legs, just slinks on out. And everyone's just kind of looking at her like, damn, you're actually just going to leave? We're not going to take a moment here? Not going to get her body out? No. Just, and the others are telling him, mostly Lily, are telling him there's really nothing they can do. She dried up. She's dead. Please don't kill Jen. Please don't kill Jennifer Kale. She is so important. We have Man-Thing in the universe. Don't kill Jennifer Kale. I'm kind of surprised you killed Alice Wu-Gulliver. I'm kind of, she's kind of C tier, D tier. I get it. Don't kill Jen, please. You can kill Lilia. Don't kill Jen, please. Please. So the kid is definitely not Scratch, right? And I'm wondering to myself, why was she constantly absorbing her power? Wrote that in the notes, which again gets quickly addressed, and I appreciate that. I appreciate a show that, again, if I have a question and I'm going, well, how come that happened? And if the show goes, oh, we'll tell you why it happened in exactly 3 seconds. When Teen asked the exact same thing, why'd you do it? She says, I couldn't control it. Well, no, you wanted her power. And Kale, we have Kale and Lilia both being very pessimistic here. Kale's like, of course, that's what this has all been about, which is actually true. This whole reason going down the road is because Agatha wanted her power back. She said to Rio, let me get my purple back. She want that purple stuff. And Lilia, always depressing as hell, saying death comes for us all. Why would you say that to somebody? Because Alice and Teen seem to be the closest in this group to one another. They seem to be the ones that you would imagine they would be friends outside of all this, right? So why would you say that? That I wouldn't want to hear that shit either. Just saying. And Agatha is like in tears a bit, and one Teen is going, is that what being a witch is? Killing people to serve her own agenda? Well, not for me. And so she goes from looking sad and pathetic, oh, we're supposed to feel bad for her, so she has that weird smirk she has, and she starts snickering and whispers, are you sure? Does the whole, I've seen a lot lately of people lifting people's chins with 2 fingers. I know it's technically a coincidence, and it's definitely a style choice. I'm just surprised I've seen it twice in anime now and twice in shows. And she tells him that he's so much like his mother. And his mama's not her. His mama's Wanda, y'all. I'm just going to let that cat out of the bag. His mama's Wanda. I mean, it's obvious. We were told before this show started that Billy Wiccan would show up in the show, one of Wanda's kids. And Billy is gay. Teen is gay. Teen is young. Teen also has that blue energy that Billy has, not just in WandaVision, the show, if you remember when Billy had magic and Tommy had the speed powers like his Uncle Pietro. He has blue energy even in the comics. His magic is blue, which is important to note. Certain characters have different colors associated with them. Pardon me. Like Clea has purple as well. Doctor Strange, you know, most of his stuff is orange / amber, kind of yellowish. Agatha's is purple. It's the same thing with mutants. When telekinetic mutants, Psylocke is purple. Jean Grey's is red. Emma Frost's is blue. That's why Emma's the best. It's blue. So Billy, and again, everyone has the weird hand thing. You do see Agatha doing this when we see that power in her hands, but that's Alice's power. It's that yellow Alice power. She does that whole thing. And then Billy starts doing the whole Scarlet Witch hand twitchy thing that we saw. And with the hand twitchy thing, all of a sudden Lily and Jen come up, grab Agatha by the arm. She's like, no, what are you doing? Ah! Throw her. Remember, you're not supposed to get off the road. Throw her off the road, the muck and stuff. Grab her and pull her down. And then, for no real particular reason, Teen just does a energy pulse and it knocks both Jen and Lilia in there. And then they finally wake up and you notice their eyes have that blue tint to it that his magic has. So obviously he has done a mind control on them, which is, I'll get to that in a second. But they're screaming, they're getting pulled down. Don't you dare kill Jennifer Kale. Don't you dare kill Jennifer Kale. If you kill her, this show is going to be a 2. I'm going to give it a 2. I don't care how good the ending is. It's going to get a damn 2. Do not kill her. But she's gone. You see Billy with that stupid ass headdress. I just don't like. I don't like how the headdresses look in the MCU. Wanda's was the one Wanda had in, not, was it Endgame? Yeah, in Endgame it looked nice. The one she had at the end of WandaVision, that looked nice. But I don't like sometimes overly designed just looks ugly to me. I would have rather Billy just had just like a straight blue version of hers instead of an overly designed version of her headdress thing, right? But that's what we get. We get that, and we get the close up, and we get the serious look. He is definitely his mother's son, and that was the big WTF moment. So I don't know what's gonna happen. This feels like it's supposed to be a mid-season finale break. You're supposed to come back in 2 weeks and then figure out what happens. They're not gonna do that. We're gonna watch it tomorrow. As a matter of fact, you're watching this the day of the new episode coming out, because I need to watch that. I probably won't have that review out this week. I'm gonna have it up as soon as I possibly can because I have my plate full. But wow indeed. So, I had a couple questions here. Where the hell is Rio? When this whole thing is going down, Rio did not come out of the house, and the others are just walking, then this all happens. That's why I'm thinking to myself, maybe this is an illusion, but it's a little bit too elaborate. It's way too elaborate for an illusion, because then who's the illusion for? Is it for Billy? It's obviously Billy. It's either Billy or Teen. I'm calling him Billy because we know it's Billy. It's either for Billy or it's for Agatha. And it can't be for Agatha because she screamed inside the muck. So maybe it's for Billy if it's an illusion. I don't know. But where is Rio? How come Rio hasn't shown up and stabbed Billy in the chest? I did forget to mention what happened to the rest of the Salem 7 when they got inside the houses. The Salem 7 can't get in because they're not here for a trial, which if they got in a different way. So here's the thing. The Coven summoned Rio because they needed the spot. So I can see the rules of the road saying it's okay for her to come in. But the others kind of snuck in, and I get that they're a hive mind. They're more of a thing than a people. So how come the road didn't send, is there no mystical? So as long as you stay to the road, you won't die until you get to the trial where you might possibly die. There's nothing else in the road forest area that can appear and come out. There's magical beings and creatures in the MCU. So that's all this road is just mystical trials that can kill you. And if you step off the road, it'll kill you too. But finding out where the hell Rio is kind of like a top priority to me. Also, was Nicholas Scratch, was her baby Mephisto's son? Oh, did Agatha Harkness give birth to Blackheart? Did she do it with Mephisto and Blackheart is her son? Because MCU loves for everything to be connected. I can see, oh man, she made a deal so she can get the Darkhold. I don't really care. You can do that with Chthon. One day I'll have to talk about Chthon in length, but I'm not going to do it right now. But the dark god entity Chthon, that's technically his books, and that's where you draw your power from. Kind of like how the Ancient One and Doctor Strange and any other magic user, they draw certain spells and powers from certain other universes, like Dark Dimension, or from other entities like the Crimson Bands of Sidorak, who is also the god that gives Juggernaut his abilities. That maybe that's where the Darkhold comes from in here. But I digress. Excuse me. I digress. Maybe she had a baby with him, and Nicholas Scratch is Blackheart. I would love to see all of this. I don't want to say conclude, but start to rev up into a Midnight Suns thing, and then we get the whole Blackheart being their first villain, and then they're gonna have to deal with Mephisto. We know that Ghost Rider's in this universe, partially because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. technically isn't canon to the MCU, but it's kind of canon to the MCU. I mean, as much as I'm not a fan of, well, I'm not the biggest fan of Hot Rod Ghost Rider, I do like that Gabriel Luna played him, and he did a really good job playing him. So keep that character. But I'm hoping this is revving up into that. And we still have 6, 7, 8. We still got 4 episodes. I don't know where we're going to go from here, because there's only 2 trials left. Then you have to deal with the Salem 7. Then you have to deal with the fallout from Agatha and all her stuff. So all in all, this is a 5 out of 5. Because it was funny. Because it was spooky. Because there was some parts that genuinely terrified me. I want to give it a -1 because you kill Alice, but it's still a 5 out of 5. But my warning still stands: if you kill Jennifer Kale, I'm giving this series a 2. If the final is really good, I'll give it a 3. But I'm knocking off 3 points because of it. Don't kill Jennifer Kale, please. Kill Lilia. Lilia actually dies in the comics. No one cares. Also, I know of tarot. I'm not the biggest into knowing what the tarot means, because what did she say in here? She said King of Wands or Knight of Wands. She keeps saying certain card numbers that are popping up when certain things are happening. Maybe I will take the time to if she says it in this next episode, I'll take the time. I'll look up the card. I'll look up what it represents. Maybe that's also another hint as to what's going to happen. But yeah, don't get rid of Jen. Get rid of Lilia, or do a swap. Swap out Lilia and have her bring back Alice. I'll be all for that. Or I don't want to predict this, but what if they get to the end of the road and then Teen is like, I want my mama to be alive. Also, can Alice be alive too, please? He seems like the type that would do that. I'm also sick of the Maximoff's brain, or should I say mind controlling people. Can we stop that? Can there be like a ban on them being able to control people's minds? Because it really makes them look like they're telekinetic when it's a lot different than that. Maybe it's a magical charm. There you go. I just explained it away. So 5 out of 5. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I thank you for taking some time out to listen to me talk about Agatha all along, but she is going to be all alone. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified of more reviews like this. And don't forget, if you want to support me even further, the Patreon link is in the description below. Guys, be good, be blessed. Wash those hands, drink you some water. Be good to yourselves, be good to others. Either way it goes, please don't be a jerk. And remember that you matter. All right. If you're feeling down, you got some dark thoughts, reach out to somebody. There are people out there that would rather hear from you and talk to you today than to miss you and mourn you tomorrow. I guarantee it. My social media is in the description below. Follow me, send me a message. Be cool and we be cool. Yeah. So until next time, true believers, I don't know where this is going to go. This is Loki season 2 all over again. Until next time, Excelsior.